Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Thanks again for joining into another live stream here this morning. So, first off, would like to say that the way today is starting isn't the prettiest looking sight with this big gap down. So we're starting to see a lot of stocks kind of trailing in the down direction. There are tons of earnings plays today. So most of my attention is going to be on earnings plays. I didn't specifically put any stock as like the main title of the video just because there's so many earnings plays today that I could have typed for days. So that's why it says earnings plays for days, as there's a lot. So today my focus is mainly going to be on earnings plays. I'm going to walk you through a few that I like that I'll be focusing on. So specifically, we are going to talk about Twitter. We're going to touch on Chipotle. We're going to look at IRobot. Then there's a few others. And so I already know what's going to happen today to myself. Today, I'm going to be watching earnings plays, and I'm going to be trading one. And chances are there's going to be another earnings play out there that goes wild, and I'm going to be mad that I wasn't watching that one. But welcome to trading, ladies and gentlemen. It just is what it is. All right, so let's start here. I just want to start with Twitter, because Twitter's kind of like the main one I know some people have already asked about, and it's quite interesting looking. So Twitter's earnings report this morning slams right down. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details, but from what I gathered is they actually did fairly well in their earnings report in terms of like revenue. I think they were up on revenue, but I also think they said that they were not going to be reporting their like users, the amount of people that are actually using the platform. I can't remember where it was at. Yeah, so plans to phase out monthly active user metric, and this is kind of similar to I don't remember if you guys paid attention to Apple's earnings, but this was very similar to Apple's earnings, kind of, because I think Apple. I don't know if it was the last one or the one before. It might have been the one before this previous earnings with Apple, but they reported that they were going to stop reporting like metrics on iPhone sales or something like that. Yeah, metrics on like the iPhone sales or themselves. And then a lot of investors seen it as really negative. So that's kind of the same feeling I'm getting here with Twitter. It's when a company says, oh, they're not going to report their monthly active users, investors could see that as shady or they're trying to hide something. And that's kind of that sentiment that people gather from things like this. So nonetheless, it is dropping, but it's not necessarily because they did terrible on their actual earnings. So nonetheless, again, the pattern is bearish, so we're going to be following this bearish. And by the looks of it, it does appear that Twitter is actually going to be breaking down here pretty soon. Just by the looks of it, it's kind of trailing to the downside, lower highs. So probably going to be watching Twitter to kind of break down here and maybe come down to retest this pre-market low. But we'll be following Twitter short today. This 31 level is support. You can kind of see from this bounce here, from this earnings down bounce just the other day there, and a few kind of buybacks on that level. So 31 is relatively a strong support area for Twitter. So don't just think that if you're short it, it's just going to smash right through 31. It actually might get held up there for a little bit, okay? All right, next one on the list, CMG. CMG is a stock that it may or may not pick up in volume, but CMG is a big trader, meaning you could probably pop in 10 shares and make a good amount of money. The thing already gapped from 520 all the way to 580, so big jump. This is something we're going to be following long bias on the day, or at least I would like to see it go long. I traded Chipotle back here on this earnings. It was this earnings that I traded Chipotle when they had this really big gap, and then Chipotle ran like crazy on their earnings. So this is something you can kind of expect, right? Look at Chipotle here. It gapped from 339 up to 380, right? About 50 points. And then it ran from 380, 390 all the way to 425. So 25, 30 points on the day. And then you come over here and you look at Chipotle now, and it's crazy. Watch this. Way over the 52-week high, into 52-week high. It's had a $50 gap. It's holding up pretty well. So I would be following Chipotle long bias today until it says otherwise. Right now it's holding very well pre-market. So ideally, we'll probably look for a long trade over some of this pre-market trend. Alrighty, on to the next one. IRobot, IRBT. IRBT is another stock, very big gap up. Kind of pulled back after hours, but it's also curling up a little bit. So again, another one that I'm going to be following long biased. Arguable that it is at resistance. You can see this top here, and this is where we're at now. So if we can break over this 100, really, arguably, I would say if we can get up and over 102.50 and hold, it might be good for a long. It's just there is arguably a lot of resistance here, right? Look at this dip. Get bought, dip, breakdown, resistance, resistance, resistance. So now there's really one resistance, two resistance, 3, 4, 5, 6 resistance points all lining up with where we're at on earnings, though I still have kind of a bullish sentiment on IRBT today. All right. And there's many more, guys. I mean, I could honestly keep going down the list. I think MTCH was one. SONO was another one. So there's multiple earnings plays today. You guys can search them up and see which ones you guys like the most. But for me specifically, I'll be following Twitter, Chipotle, and IRBT. And then I'll have all the other ones kind of on like a side watch. All right. I'm going to kind of go through some questions here real fast. NIO, I'll take a look at NIO, but I don't expect much. You guys have heard me speak of NIO before, and remember how I specifically said I wouldn't be interested in NIO until it can get over like that 850s, 840s, and that's where we're at. We're at 850, 840, this resistance, and we still can't get over it, so we had a nice run up into resistance, so I expect a sell-off. Last time we got here, it sold off, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we've got to this level and sold off. So I would expect the same thing. We're going to see sellers. It's going to come back in. It's going to push NIO down. CGC selling off. ZNGA did have earnings. Yeah, ZNGA is Zynga or something like that, however you want to pronounce it. And they're like $4 or maybe a $5 stock. They had earnings. I probably won't trade that today myself. I never really trade ZNGA, but that is another company that has earnings today. Rookie trader, what are my strategies? So again, I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not really one for really saying strategies because it's just trading. Really, everyone's like, oh, it's strategy, but it's at the end, it's just trading. So to me, trading is about understanding the flow of the market. Once you understand the flow of the market, you know how things are going to move. You can expect when things should move. You can expect when things should move more aggressive than in different situations. And so that's just it, right? I mean, because here's the thing, right? Some people are like, oh, I just trade bullish pennant patterns, right? Like, okay, yeah, I mean, that can work. But if you really know what's going on in the market, you'll know when a bullish pattern is a better setup or when the move out of it might be stronger than in other cases. So I don't know. I'm not really necessarily like all strategy based. I'm more sense understanding of the market base, and that's kind of how I trade. I know when stocks should have moves and when they shouldn't have moves, kind of like NIO. NIO is on the screen right now. I know right now that it could break over resistance, but it's most likely not the right time. So as a newer trader, you could be like, oh, well, this is the breakout over resistance, but it's probably not. So I don't know. When it comes to strategies, I don't even really have strategy. The only thing I could say strategies wise is like a first red day setup, washout long strategy. But at the end of the day, all these strategies come down to the same thing. It's either stocks are at support, they're at resistance, short sellers are about to get squeezed, it's bullish, it's bear. I mean, it's just, I'm not crazy about strategies, to say the least. My thoughts on HYRE is actually HYRE was going to be on my watch list, so I'll put that up here for a second. I actually just didn't put it on. I am going to watch this one today. Now, I'm not super crazy about it, just based on the history. Whenever it spikes, it tends to come down. But HYRE did receive some good news that in 2019, they expect that they're going to have positive cash flow. And positive cash flow is an extremely important thing for a successful business. So when you mix in positive cash flow in a business, investors see that as really good news. And so that's why it's been getting bought up here this morning, because a company with positive cash flow is a good thing. That's a positive company, right? Those are the type of companies that who invests in companies, who do we know that everyone should know invests in companies with positive cash flow and no debt? Warren Buffett. That's Warren Buffett's style of investing, and many others, is picking companies with no debt or limited debt that have positive cash flow. And so little stock here, HYRE, did just come out and say they expect to have positive cash flow in 2019. That's very strong news. So stock is reacting positively. TCON I haven't looked at. I'm going to go with probably not going to want to trade that. It's an extremely non-volatile stock. Very hard to make money there in short term. IBM, Antonio. Interesting looking, to say the least, because it's not really yet, unless it's further back. Unless it would be further back. Yeah, I mean, like if you look at this chart, you can argue that IBM's getting into a sell area from this low to that low in this breakdown. We've retraced all the way into that level. So yeah, IBM's probably more like at a selling point than I would say necessarily an entire buying point. I know it's gapped down today, but from just looking at a longer view on it, I would say it's more of kind of like a sell, but it doesn't look like it's selling off. It's kind of holding in these levels. So it's kind of awkward. I would probably be neutral or more of a seller on that for right now. Yeah, I could break down oil. Basically, there became an oversupply of oil, a massive amount of an oversupply of oil, because America became one of or the biggest oil supplier recently. And so with the advancements in technology that would allow us here in America to get oil, essentially pump oil. So with the new advancements in technology, it allowed the United States to be able to process oil at an extremely fast rate, faster than we've ever been able to produce oil, which then also helped create this massive amount of oversupply in the oil industry, which then dragged over obviously into the markets. And then of course oil went through a massive downturn, extremely bearish move into low prices. And now the OPEC, the OPEC, had stepped in to basically govern the amount of oil supply. Basically, they stepped in and they basically told everyone to stop producing as much oil so that way they could artificially manipulate the amount of supply. And then, of course, you mix in demand. So if you have too much supply and, not enough demand, the prices are going to decrease. And then when you have, OPEC come in and govern these companies and say, hey, you need to drop down the amount you're producing. We need to decrease the amount of supply so we can get supply and demand back into check. That's what they've done. And now oil is starting to come back again. So oil is at a good buy price to me. I think long-term oil is actually probably at a fairly good buy price. But then again, it's like, well, if we became the biggest shipper and now oil is becoming more available, are the prices going to rebound to where they were? I don't think so. So I think we could probably see, depending on what you're looking at, I always follow UWT for oil. But if we were looking at UWT, I think oil could probably get back to price of like 25, maybe 30, not quite the 52-week high of this year, but nonetheless, long story short, I think oil's at a fairly good price to be buying. Supply and demand, baby. Supply and demand. Just because, why don't I post the live trading videos? Just because I don't really, this is going to come off really odd or really rude, just because I don't have to. It takes a lot of work to constantly upload videos all the time. So we do one in the morning, and then occasionally I would do like a live trading video and then a video afterwards. And then even before I post those videos, I'm online from 7:30, 8 in the morning until 11. So my whole morning is talking and doing video already. So just doing another video and uploading it, it's just a lot of work. And it's just it. That's just basically what it comes down to. It's whether or not I really feel like doing it. And I could just record the whole trading day and kind of like edit out some spots to make it like a more efficient video, but then that's even more work. So it's just really a preference thing of when I choose or choose not to. Match, MTCH. So yeah, Match is an earnings play. I would probably follow Match long, considering it broke into a new... Oh, it didn't break... Oh, wait, yeah, it did. I was going to say it broke into a 52-week high. Or just barely. I thought it had successfully broken into a 52-week high. All right, so with Match, it has a previous 52-week high at 59.50. All right, 59.50 was a 52-week high. You can see it's seeing some selling pressure there. What I'd probably do is I would like to say to follow it long, because it did gap up. It has pulled back once, pulled back twice, but it keeps getting bought up. So I'd probably follow Match long. Their Q4 results did exceed the estimates, so I'd probably be following Match long for a break over its pre-market high and 52-week high. Higher self, that is. So again, just follow this closely. It is kind of down, but just be patient with it. I do believe we'll probably see Match heading to the upside. No, I didn't change it. Not my YouTube. I don't know. That wasn't me, I don't think. No, unless YouTube's doing something different. Yep, Bordy, you could, yeah, if LCI has a big short float interest and it's breaking through key resistance levels, then it does have the possibility of short squeezing. Yeah, guys, and that's another thing, right? I trade live every single day. So like if you guys just don't see a video recap, it doesn't mean I'm not trading. I'm always trading live for, especially everyone in the private group. I'm not saying sign up to see it, but just know that no matter what, every single day, even if it's not on YouTube, I am trading, whether that's win money or lose money. So I am still actively trading every single day. Yep, I do see Cron continuing to go down. There's no rush to buying Cron. It just broke out. It just went on a run. Now it's pulling back. There's no rush to buying it. I would give that some time to settle down for sure. EA gapped down yesterday on earnings, and then it trickled back up, and then it pulled back, but I don't remember what it did after that. It grinded up all day, as Connor said it probably would after we started following it. Okay. I mean, ideally, after earnings, when they gap down or just gap up, most people are following them for continuation. So like after it kind of bounced a little bit, I would probably follow EA to the short side personally. Look for continuation to the downside on EA. My game plan with NVIDIA, AMD, any large cap stock, if the market's bearish, I'd follow those bearish. If the market gets bought back up, then I'll follow them bullish for dip buys. But yeah, pretty much any of the large cap names today still seem to be respecting the major indexes pretty well, as in they're following what the major indexes do. So I would probably still be, I'm probably short bias on NVIDIA and short bias on AMD today. Tilray, I hate Tilray more than anything. I would really love to see that company crash and burn. Where is it at? I would be short bias on Tilray. My price target on Tilray is still the same. I have a price target on Tilray to $40 to $20 a share. Personally, I think it's going to be a 40 to 20 relatively soon. I've had that price target since about 300. Okay, maybe not. 300 would be a lie, but basically since 240 to 250 is basically the top of Tilray. My price target's been 40 to $40 to $50, and it's steadily getting there. It's working its way down, but yeah, I think Tilray is going to be a stock we see into the mid 40s to high 20s within the next 5 months, 4 months. SLDB, major gap down. Everybody's thinking it's going to squeeze like crazy. I don't think SLDB is going to do a whole lot on the day. Okay. Anyways, guys, that's about all I have here today for you. I do got to get back to the private group. So again, thanks for everybody tuning in. Also, for those of you watching right now, just tuned in, if you haven't ever joined our private service, feel free to do so. It's the first link in the description. You can join in any of the private groups. We go trade. We trade live all day. We answer more questions. You get the point. And also, the first link will take you to our website, in which you can also sign up for a free watch list. So if you don't have time to be on YouTube, or if you don't have time to maybe even get online for the day, you're at work, you can pop on, check your email, and you'll still have a list of the stocks that we're focusing on for the day. So make sure to go to the first link in the description of the video, and you can go there to get into the free watch list or join the private service. And other than that, I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning for another trading day.